Welcome to my Holeyboard 123 tips and tricks setup video. Hopefully you've watched my video of setting up out of the box, and I'm going to show you some ways that I use to get your pedals in the most optimal positions. The first thing I want to start with is some supplies and things you might want to get the most out of your Holeyboard. First is a screwdriver. Any number 2 screwdriver will work. This is a multi-tool, works just fine. A wire clippers is certainly handy to have for the zip ties. If you don't have one, actually a toenail clipper also works fine, or just the scissors. That's about it for tools. Zip ties. I include zip ties in with your Holeyboard. People want to know, where can I get more if you run out? You can always order them from my website or any hardware store that's near you or anywhere online. I get the 14-inch length and I get the 50-pound test and the UV coated. They're black, so that's so the sunlight doesn't deteriorate them. And that seems to work great for me. Any zip ties will work. A little bit about cables. People ask me all the time, what about patch cables between my pedals? What brand do you recommend? What works the best? There's a lot of companies making great cables. For years, I have been very happy with Spectraflex. They have great quality and they have a lifetime warranty. The only things that have gone wrong with me personally in gigs for equipment failure are patch cables and tubes blowing. So the patch cables, it's worth spending your money on good cables. Now there's 2 different lengths. For example, here we got the Spectraflex. This one's like 6 or 8 inches, and we've got kind of the 4-inch. Both of these work well depending where we're going to put pedals together. I also wanted to show you, D'Addario just came out with these flat end cables that are amazing, and I'm switching over to them. Super fantastic. You can see how close you can get your pedals. So a whole lot of options out there. There's a lot of great stuff. Try what works for you. I wouldn't buy the cheapest cables that you can buy. Try to put your money there. It'll be well served. Another very, very important part for setting up a Holeyboard is a 3-foot patch cable. This is magic, because what this is going to allow us to do, and it's necessary, is we're going to have our pedals starting here and they're going to be coming across here, and then you're going to want to go from here all the way over to here. And so the 3-footer is going to attach here, and it goes under the shelf nicely, and then will get us to our top shelf so we can go back and forth. Having the second level is magic, and then being able to connect everything up easily is very helpful. Note that these come in 2 right angles, 2 straights, or a right to a straight. Kind of when you get to your pedal setup, you can figure out what works for you. I think I have one of each. I have 2 right angles and a straight to a right angle, and that seems to accomplish about everything you need to accomplish. One of the things I want you to realize off the bat that makes your life very easy with the Holeyboard 123 is it's designed to sit up on its back easily. So it's kind of like, almost like opening the lid. So when you're setting it up and we're putting our power supplies and our pedals and we're zip tying, remember, it's always pretty easy. If everything's hooked on, we can just rotate it up just like that. I'm going to talk a little bit about attaching zip tie. All right. So the zip ties, when we take any pedal, put my glasses on so I can see. So let's say we're going to take this 805 overdrive, and we kind of want to arrange it so you can see pretty much where you put any size pedal, you're going to end up with 2 holes that are right about in the right spot on either side. And that's where we're going to put a zip tie, right? So I can arrange it wherever I want. I'm going to use these 2. I'm going to go right across to make sure I'm not covering any jacks. This one happens to have them both in the top. You can certainly connect them underneath the board. That's usually what I do for demonstration purposes. Right now, I'm going to show you in the top because there's something I very specifically want to show you. So I'm tightening the zip tie down, okay? And you can see I'm pulling it this way. It slides in the channel before I've tightened it. I'm pulling it this way, and what I want is I want this end when I go down and then I cinch it up. I want it just like that. You see how we're creating a very nice right angle that's super tight? So I'm kind of putting the block, for lack of a better term, of the zip tie kind of along the edge. If you pull it here and it's in the middle, is it still gonna hold? Yes. It just looks a lot cleaner. You know, and you can go in with your scissors or your wire clippers, and once you've attach it on, clip it off. So that's an important part on when we're trying to do the zip ties and just to get them tight. Second thing to think about when you're putting your pedals in, say we're going from an overdrive and I'm gonna go into my tuner. I always used to put tuners first. I don't anymore because I think there's an interaction with the pickups when you have an overdrive or a fuzz first, and it seems to not matter where I put the tuner. So what I would do is connect in my patch cord. I'm gonna use that handy dandy little, you'll see why I like these so much, cord from D'Addario. You see how nice it folds down. Something to think about when you're arranging your pedals is staggering them. So if I put everything right here, you know, during a gig, we already have two nice levels for the top and the bottom so we don't accidentally hit the pedals. And we kind of want to do the same thing on the bottom. I want to make it easy so you don't hit your tuner and mute yourself while you're playing. So what I do, I'm a big overdrive guy and I turn this thing on off and on all the time. My tuner, you know, maybe every couple of songs, and I mute my guitar. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stagger it. So I'm gonna put this one up here and I'll arrange it right about like so. I'm gonna take zip tie, slide my, again, I often will do my zip ties. I connect them on the bottom, but for this video, everybody a clean, clear picture. I'm gonna pick a spot on the pedal where it's not in the way. Make sure it's unbelievably snug, which is awesome. I'm gonna come in, shoot that off at Ryan. All right, so we've got our pedals. So it's something to think about when you're arranging your pedals across your board. Staggering, also think about, you know, you don't necessarily have to, if you only have 3 or 4 pedals, it's a beautiful thing to, this is an amazing pedal, this Full Drive, it's their 20th anniversary, and it has a boost and an overdrive that I use constantly. And so sometimes I would set this up just like this, and then I might even go up to the next level with a delay, a flanger, a chorus, or you know, maybe a saturation tape delay or something like that. So something to think about is don't be afraid of white space. Don't be afraid to put a pedal by itself. And again, the beauty of the Holeyboard 123 is you can always expand it. If you feel like things are a little cramped, expand it out, okay? All right, another topic. People often ask, what are these elliptical holes for? The Holeyboard 123A, I've made them bigger. They fit a 1/4 inch patch or guitar cable easily. They're designed originally to run your power cables from your power supply, but they can also be used creatively. This pedal, for example, this drive has the connectors right in the top, sometimes on the side, and this is my first pedal. I'm not playing with a wah. And I just had a gig the other night and I'd do the same thing. So I could take let's say this is my guitar cable, and I can come in right through the top and plug right in, right? So it's also handy to run through when we're doing our cable across the board, going underneath. And if I want to come through here, I could wrap here onto my cable on the side. The next question I get quite often is, I have some gigantic pedals. Do you sell longer zip ties, or how am I gonna connect it? Well, I'm gonna blow your mind. And it's only because, you know, sometimes people don't think of it. I know I certainly didn't. You take your 14-inch zip ties, whatever length you have, and we take one, and then we simply attach them together. Right? We're going to attach them together, and then we can clip off the ends. Then you can get whatever length you want. To hook this Janus on from Walrus, it's big. It's going to be big either direction. But with any of the pedals, you don't have to go all the ways across. Sometimes it makes sense. I'm like, oh, I see a clear path, and this is the easiest way to get this pedal on. You know, but also think vertically. We can go horizontally or vertically. They work just as well. And for many pedals, especially the bigger stuff, I'll end up just putting kind of one pedal on in this direction. I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'm gonna kill two birds with one stone here. I'm gonna show you something even further. So we're using two cable ties, a big pedal, and I'm also gonna show you to remind you, the front edge is an edge, right? So you don't always have to, everything lines up perpendicularly one way or another, and the edges were designed to be used. So I'm actually wrapping around the front edge, which it's designed to do. And if I'm doing two, I'm gonna pull that one all the way down there. I'm gonna pull this one that tight. Remember, we can rotate it if we wanna get a nice edge on right on there. One tie, I'm telling you, is incredibly strong, okay? Next thing I want to talk about is I'm gonna put this aside for a moment, and we're gonna talk about wahs, wah or your volume. And this is the module 3, which obviously connects to the regular board. I've separated out just for making our demo a little simpler. You certainly can, if you already have a wah or volume and you got a giant strip of Velcro, I have channels that are designed with the smaller holes, patent pending hole pattern, that accepts Velcro and holds it very well. Totally fine with using that. If that's what you want to do, go for it. If you want to use zip ties and avoid, this is my Clyde Deluxe, which is somewhat spendy. You can see that the holes line up in a billion places kind of right next to it. So that was not, accident, it was intentional. If you cock up your wah a little bit, you can go find something you like. I'm gonna say, and I'm gonna let you know we're gonna put 2 on, okay? And what we're gonna do, we're in a construction zone here today. It's okay, it's okay. We're gonna put it through the treadle, okay? You can tilt this up. Underneath here, there's nothing going on in here, and if you can see, it's not hitting the zip tie at all, right? Wahs and volumes, there's plenty of room in there to move back and forth. So we're gonna go, and again, I would normally connect it underneath, but you can also see one of the things I do is sometimes I'll slide it to the edge of the table. Wahs are somewhat gainly beasts, and we're gonna do this, we're gonna do 2, and I'll show you why. So I'm kind of going up to my edge, I'm gonna get that right where I want it. And with the wah, just because it's so big, and most pedals, if you think about it, the pressure you're putting on it is just downward pressure. In the wah and the volume, we're actually, we're rocking them back and forth. So this one, I'll show you how I do it. So I just tuck this guy, turn it over, bring it to the edge. Right there. Ow! Sorry, Ryan. All right, so you can see crazy strong, crazy durable. Black on black looks good. Also works well with the white ones. Works well, fits the Ernie Ball's gigantic volume pedal. Pretty much, the wah-wahs don't get a whole lot bigger than this. And then remember also that with the module number 3, let's say you had something crazy big and flat, like a whammy deluxe, that you could go and put 2 of these together, right? 2 modules can go right together, flat space. All right. The Holeyboard 123 can accept virtually any power supply. There's a lot of great power supplies out there. I use them all. Voodoo's had a great power supply. I think I still have the same one had it for 20 years. My Pedal Power 2. This is the Phoenix from Walrus. It's pretty awesome because it has 15 outputs, which when you're doing a lot of pedals is pretty amazing. This is new from Mission, which I love. It's rechargeable. This has 8 outputs, and then you could daisy chain 2 of these together, and you can see how small it is. And the cool thing is, all of these are at least 300 milliamps, and they have 2 500. Whereas most pedals, kind of including the Walrus, they might have 2, 3, or 4 that are 300 milliamps. Big fan of Strymon stuff. Strymon, you need at least 250. So if you ever have a problem and you're wondering why your pedals aren't working, you might not have enough power. So any power supplies work well. I recommend most. I don't recommend the daisy chaining power supplies pedals together. The one spot is a good place to start, but if I'm gonna let you know now, if you have a noisy pedal board, it's the first place you want to start. All right, power supply. 2 or 3 places we can mount them. The first place is it's designed right under the middle, right? So we're gonna go under the top shelf, and this is a good one. You kind of know where your pedals are. You're traveling to gigs or, you know, club, church, or practice. Keeps it out of the way, makes the whole board super compact. You can see if I mount the power supply right there, these holes right here are easy to access. So for routing my power cables, and I'm gonna turn this baby all the way upside down because I want you to see something. I've got plugs here. This is where my universal power supply is gonna go, and then I have an auxiliary plug. And you can see that I have added in these giant rectangular holes just to fit those kind of plugs, right? So I could put this, I would probably mount this right about here, and then I can run my cords right through here and through the side. It's designed to do that. You could also, let's say, you know, the Missions is a little bit more svelte, lack of a better word. You could mount this guy. I might really consider mounting just like that. The only time I need to plug this one in is on the side. It's like a USB-C or bigger connector that goes to the wall supply, but it's rechargeable. I could easily access the plugs from the top, or I could put it kind of all the way up like that and hit the plugs from the bottom and just run through the holes in the back. Or I could put it in the same place right here is a good spot. The other place where I mount pedal supplies a lot, and I call it demo mode. When I call it demo mode is when I am kind of changing things in and out. I might be at home, I'm not sure of all my pedals, and I kind of like to mix it up. The back is designed with the hole spacing to put power supplies back here. You can mount this easily up here. There's a right angle power connector that I have that you can go right below it. The Mission is really super simple to mount just like that. And then you can just unplug things, clip off a pedal, and plug it in pretty easily. So power supplies, multiple places to mount them. Use whatever works the best for you. Okay, the next thing I want to show, I had mentioned at the beginning of the video, the importance of the 3-foot cable. 3-foot cables here, both with different ends. I am going to go from this 0-point flanger. I want to get up to the top shelf where I have my reverb from Strymon. And so this one is coming out this side, and this is coming out the top. So 2 options are, one, I could put this guy, which works just fine. I put that in there. I'm gonna run this under the shelf, and I'm gonna connect this up to the left in, like such. You can see what we're doing. The reason I mentioned you might want to think about the ends, depending on what pedals you're going to. I would probably go with this guy, because I'm gonna show you what I can do. Remember I was talking about the elliptical holes? Look, I'm tucking it right through there. This is so nice and clean, compact, right? Tucking it through there. I'm gonna come around here. I'm gonna end up right in my Strymon, just like that, okay? Way cleaner, way nicer look, just the right angle to right angle. And then what I do is, this cord that's coming through here, I will just run when I get things where I want, take any 2 holes, one nice little zip tie, not too snug. The beauty of having plenty of zip ties about. And then we're going from our top shelf down to the lower shelf, super clean, and this kind of avoids and goes by. Plenty of room for your power supply. That is the 3-foot cable. And that is my Holeyboard tips and tricks. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me. Down at the bottom of the page, as always, is my email address, chris@holeyboardpedalboards.com. Keep on rocking out. Send me your pictures with your setups on it, and have a great day. It broke. Can you edit that out? I have to do another one, sorry.
Nope, start over. Take everything off.